more on all this, we are joined by Daniel Kaplan, finance editor for Sports Business Journal. Daniel, good morning.
Good morning.
That was a really tense press conference, and it really felt like we didn't get a lot of the answers we'd been waiting for.
There's no doubt people saw Roger Goodell as stiff and uncooperative with his answers. But I think what James Brown just said in the lead up to this is very important. Goodell, when he came in as commissioner in 2006, he was the sheriff of the NFL. He was going to, player conduct was, ironically, was a key part of what made him popular. But it alienated the players, and it led to issues with due process because it was somewhat arbitrary with the conduct punishments. Now he's willing to cede some of that power and bring the union, which has been a big adversary of the NFL, into the process. I know people want a personal conduct policy, a new one right away, but if you're going to work with the union, it will take some time.
How damaging is this ESPN report that came out?
I think it's very damaging for the Baltimore Ravens. They didn't exactly refute the report. They just said there were some errors in it. There were some misperceptions. They didn't specifically say what, of course. And then they're not going to talk about it until next week, which is, I think, nuts. I mean, it's being alleged.
This is a continuing problem for the NFL and the owners right now. Is it's taking them forever to even discuss what's going on.
I know, well, this is a problem for the commissioner. He has 32 teams. You have the situation with the Minnesota Vikings where they suspended Adrian Peterson. They brought him back, then they suspended him again. Now you have the Baltimore Ravens being accused of a cover-up, of having seen the videotape, have lied to the fans, to the sponsors, to the commissioner himself, and they're going to go play a game tomorrow and not talk about it until after then.
You mentioned the sponsors. Just last week, we spoke to someone who said everybody wants a piece of the NFL. So even if sponsors start pulling out, there will be others to replace it. But we're starting to see that happen. Some of these sponsors are saying, I don't want to be associated with it.
Well, you saw Radisson, in the case of the Minnesota Vikings, suspend their sponsorship, and you saw Crest pull out of a promotion tied to the breast cancer awareness campaign the NFL does every October. But you've not seen any major sponsor pull out completely. Crest is part of Procter & Gamble. It remains a part of the NFL.
But individual players we're seeing, because we saw Nike pull out from Ray Rice.
That's a very different matter. That's a very different matter from the league versus individual players.
Daniel, do you think there's a conversation going on, though, between the sponsors and the commissioner at this point?
I asked the commissioner about that yesterday at the press conference. He claims that, I mean, yes, there have been conversations, but he claims that, to the best of his knowledge, there have not been any sponsors about to pull out.
And I think, I mean, is it correct to assume that until those sponsors really start pressuring them, they're going to be reluctant to move faster?
I think that's very true. There's not been significant economic pressure. In fact, we'll have a story out on Monday that the business metrics of the NFL, they've never been better. Merchandise sales up, TV ratings up, notwithstanding the rating for the blowout on your network of the other night.
All right, Daniel Kaplan, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you.